Question number one. The manufacturers should know the source of their animal and meat derivatives. Feed material catalog says species should be specified at least, right? Thank you so much for the question. And no, they do not have a legal requirement to tell you what you are receiving. So if you are in America, for example, you will see a lot of animal fats and natural flavors, and those are as vague as they come. Here in the UK, we have something called meat and animal derivatives, which tends to be the same sort of thing, and it's really, really vague. Think about it from the standpoint of a very, very big company. If you have a brand of kibble or whatever, and it's all over the world, bear in mind that sourcing that product worldwide can be quite tricky. So you aren't going to have the bioavailability to put, say, 31% chicken across the board forever, because I'm assuming, different supply chains from different countries operate in different ways, sourcing different ingredients and different nutrient densities and all that good stuff can be quite hard to accomplish. So that's why a lot of the big corporations will put meat and animal derivatives, and that's 90%. And then if turkey is cheaper than chicken, if beef is more available than pork, if whatever is better for that particular recipe or for that particular batch, that's what they will put in the recipe. And they do not have to tell you, and they do not need to tell you. Do they know the source of the meat and animal derivatives? I'm sure they do. I am sure they have different supply chains and different manufacturing plants all over the world, but they don't. But you don't know. That is the problem, and that is my biggest argument whenever it comes to these meat and animal derivatives and animal fats and natural flavors, that you do not know what you are giving your dog. So it's a bit like, your doner kebab, and if you are from Europe, you pretty much know what a doner kebab is. I mean, let me know if you know what a doner kebab is. Or if you are in America, do you know what a doner kebab is? It's a ultra processed meat, which is absolutely delicious. I think it was originally from Germany with Turkish roots. Absolutely beautiful thing. It kicks my stomach every single time I have it because it's ultra processed, and sometimes the sources of the ingredients, we will not know what they are. They say 50% chicken and something else, or 50% chicken and pork, but we don't really know which part of the pig they are feeding you, or the chicken they are feeding you. All you see is a blob of meat, which is absolutely delicious, by the way. But this is the thing. It's a bit like giving your dog or cat doner kebab every single day. It's ultra processed food, it's not very good, and in my opinion, this is not something suitable for a dog or a cat. So whenever we talk about meat and animal derivatives, whenever we talk about natural flavors, animal fats, they aren't very good. Now, the other argument is that if a manufacturer puts complete and balanced on the bag, that should be enough. You have the FEDIAF, the Federation, the European Federation. You have AFCO in the States, and as long as a dog food or a cat food is complete and balanced, and the nutrients are balanced, then everything is fine. Well, this is a bit like eating a protein bar, and I'm a gym goer. And that protein bar telling you that this has 27 grams of protein and calcium and potassium and whatever else nutrients you want. But it's still a protein bar. You cannot tell me that a protein bar is better than, I don't know, like chicken and strawberries and healthy natural yogurt. There is no comparison between the two. So a lot of people will say, oh, well, all you need to look for is the nutrients and that sort of thing. Well, cereals are very nutritious, and they are packed with vitamins and minerals and all that crap, basically. But they aren't very good for our kids. And those sort of dog foods and cat foods aren't very good for our pets. If you disagree with me, you disagree with me, and you are more than welcome to do so. But that is my opinion. By the way, it's absolutely boiling here in England, and it's only going to last a couple of days. So we have people here from South Africa. Hello to South Africa. We have people here from Mumbai, India, Sweden. We have Spain. We have Rome, Italy. It'll be boiling, obviously, as well in beautiful Rome, Italy. We have people from Florida, Massachusetts. Incredible. Let me know where you are watching this from. Thank you so much for tuning in. Second question is kibble bad for cats? Very, very wide question. Yes and no. Cats are very, very picky. That's one thing. Second thing, most commercial kibble for cats is absolutely rubbish and infuriating. I mean, cat food is absolutely infuriating. I have a cat, and whenever you look at commercial cat foods, they are the bottom of the barrel in terms of quality. A lot of big manufacturers will put sugar in cat food or caramel, or they will try to enhance the flavor of the kibble for cats, because cats are notoriously picky, because cats sometimes eat mice outdoors and they won't eat the food for whatever reason in the house. So those are two things. You then have chronic dehydration, you then have hairballs and hair loss in cats. Let me address one by one if I can think about the whole thing. Let's start by chronic dehydration. Cats sometimes drink less than dogs because they don't really, if you think about a cat catching prey, catching mice all day long, they don't really have that access, that availability to water. So they might not drink as much water as you'd like. So adding on top of it kibble, which is very, very dry, which is maybe 8% moisture, isn't enough for their kidneys to be healthy. This is why there's so many cats with kidney disease, for example. The second one is that obviously if you have a commercial cat food with rice, with cereals, with wheat, with barley, with corn, with high fructose corn syrup, with a lot of these rubbish ingredients, your cat is really going to struggle because they are obligate carnivores, my friend. And if your cat is an obligate carnivore and you give them something they aren't designed to digest and eat and metabolize into glucose and then function properly, then you are going to have a problem, aren't you? It's a bit like feeding meat to a horse, or feeding meat to a rabbit. It's the same sort of thing. So is kibble bad for cats? It depends. Now, if your cat or if you have a really busy job and a really busy lifestyle and you want to feed kibble for your cat, find a kibble that's as meatier as possible, please. So make sure that the protein content is north of 40%, if you can, 30 up in the 30s and up in the 40s if we can. So on the back, the crude protein needs to be as high as possible. Discard anything under 25 and look for your venison, your fresh chicken, your fresh turkey, your fresh tuna, your whatever. Then we all have a fish cat or a chicken cat. I was talking to a vegan vet. I do not believe in vegan diets for dogs or cats, but she made a really, really interesting point, and you can go back and watch the interview. And she says that cats aren't biologically, they would never catch fish and eat fish. And I think that's a very good point. So if you think about it, biologically appropriate might mean different things for different people. And that is something that's stuck with me, and that's something that I've learned from someone who has a complete different opinion to mine. So I'm very, very open-minded in that regard. But I still think your cat needs fresh meat. That's why loads of kibbles, well, all kibble should be supplemented with taurine, which is the essential amino acid in cats. It helps them get pregnant and see better, and it helps with heart, with heart avoiding heart failure. Excuse me. So it's absolutely very, very important. What else is there to say about kibble for cats? We have touched on chronic dehydration, the dismal quality of commercial cat food, the fact that certain cats are eating mice outside, and then whenever they come in, they don't eat the food. That's because they are already full. And so if you want to feed your cat a wet food on top of the kibble, that could be a bit of an improvement. But if you can only feed your cat kibble, maybe wet the kibble, find a very, very high quality kibble, very meaty kibble. Any carbohydrates that are in the kibble, they should be maybe very, very low in the glycemic index. So sweet potato, you are looking at what could be fruits and vegetables, but not all that many. They can't digest it. It's not very good for them. Well, it's horrible for them. Cats lack something called hepatic glucokinase, so the ability to break down glucose in the liver. So the fewer the carbohydrates you feed the cat, the better. Next question, and thank you. I give my Cockapoo just biscuits for breakfast, and for dinner I give him half a chicken breast. Is that optimal? This is typical Cockapoo playbook. Cockapoos are absolutely adorable, and it's a breed that I absolutely love. I absolutely love them. They look like babies, they act like babies, they are incredible. However, they are extremely picky and they are extremely active. So if you are going to get a Cockapoo, or if you already have a Cockapoo, you better exercise that thing and you better provide that thing with mental stimulation, because they need it. I actually had an instance a while ago where someone came into one of our branches for a consultation. You can book a consultation, thepetquarter.co.uk/consultation, if you need help with your dog or cat's diet. And this lady was telling me that their Cockapoo was really, really hyper, that was destroying everything. And I asked her, well, what do you do with the Cockapoo? And she was like, well, I work from home, so I take the Cockapoo round the block 3 times in the morning, and then I work, and then I take the Cockapoo again another 3 times after work, and then I sit down to watch Netflix with my family. And I'm like, right, okay, so you are at work 8 hours and then maybe 2 or 3 hours at night, and you are in from one couch to the other couch, and the dog is always there. It's half a working breed. You need to work that thing. That Cockapoos can go 8 hours, 5 hours. Let me know if you have a Cockapoo. You will have or a working breed. They can go forever. Collies, Belgian Malinois, German Shepherds, to a certain extent, they can go all day. Like little dogs, some little dogs can go all day. Spaniels, they're working dogs, or they have working in them. So, and the one thing with Cockapoos, going back to the question, is that they are very, very picky. They have poodle in them, and they're quite brainy. And so they will be notoriously fussy. They are notoriously picky eaters. And a lot of people will start introducing different things. And this is classic from a Cockapoo owner. I give my Cockapoo juice biscuits for breakfast. This is dry kibble for my international friends. And for dinner, I give him half a chicken breast. Is that optimal? Hell no, that's not optimal. That's a dismal diet, in my opinion. What do you mean by optimal? Let's assume we want to feed our Cockapoo dry in the morning and then fresh at night, which I have no problem with. We should be rotating the meats at night. So maybe we give the dog chicken breast one day, maybe chicken thigh. Then we rotate into turkey. We then go into beef. venison, lamb, goat, pork, whatever. And then how about a bit of liver? How about a bit of spleen? How about a bit of pancreas? A bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of bone content, a bit of cartilage, tracheas from your local pet shop. Always support your local pet shop. So those are some of the things I would be doing. If your cockapoo is starting to be fussy, which is probably the problem you are having, you are going to have to bat down the hatches and be very, very strict with your dog. And if you aren't strict with your dog is going to drive you crazy. Now, if you DIY the food, you should try to mimic, you should try to replicate the 80-10-10, whereby 70 to 80% of the diet is meat, lean meat, 10% is offal, of which 5% is liver, and 10% should be bone. If your dog were to catch a small mammal, that mammal will comprise of roughly 80-10-10, and that's what you are aiming for. Now, if you give your dog kibble in the morning, that kibble will already contain some carbohydrates. So I wouldn't feed the dog any more vegetables. I wouldn't feed the dog anything else apart from meat, if we can. And then I would try to rotate the meats. If you only want to feed your dog kibble, you can feed your dog kibble twice a day, and that's it. Don't start tinkering with the dog's diet. Don't cut the chicken on top of the kibble, and then you water the kibble, and then that's how cockapoo owners go wrong. And cockapoos are one of my favorite breeds, but they can be an absolute nightmare. I hope that helps. You are certainly correct on defining a complete diet before assessing complementary. Good job. Thank you. So this is precisely, and it ties into the previous point. So a complementary food, if you go onto a raw food manufacturer and you see something like free flow or 100% chicken or 100% beef, that's not complete. That's literally meat, which is fine and it's wonderful and it's phenomenal, but that is not complete. Your dog and cat need all the other bits. They absolutely need the other bits. Let me give you an example. So my dog is getting on in age. He's 10. He's almost 10. And he cannot metabolize fat very well. The liver, the kidneys, the pancreas are struggling. And so sometimes his stools are quite yellowy and oily, which is sometimes a sign of pancreatitis, an early sign of pancreatitis in dogs. So guess what we are doing? We are adding back a little bit of pancreas. We have gone to, because we obviously own pet shops, but we have gone to another pet shop, local pet shop, and we have sourced some pancreas for him. And guess what? He loves it. He absolutely loves it. And this is something that that isn't talked about very much, but your dog needs organ meat, and those organ meats are incredibly nutritious. There have been many reports of our grandparents or great-grandparents in wars eating liver, raw liver, which sounds disgusting in my opinion. And that liver was really nutritious, and it's really cheap, because who eats liver? I mean, if you go to your local supermarket, liver is really cheap, yet the color is so rich because it absorbs so many nutrients. It's so nutritious, it's so rich, very dense. So incredibly important to give your dog or cat organ meat. So yeah, thank you for the question. I live in America. Anything by Purina. They have been around for over 100 years, and I trust their products. I feed my pit bull Purina dog chow. He does great on it. They have great horse feed too. These boutique foods are ridiculous. Thank you so much for your question, my friend, and I wholeheartedly disagree. We have high fructose corn syrup in Purina dog chow. Let me read you the ingredients. Purina dog chow ingredients. And if you want to feed this and your dog is doing okay, then that's absolutely fine, but this isn't very good for your dog. We have whole grain corn, we have meat and bone meal, we have corn gluten meal, we have soybean meal, chicken byproduct meal, we have natural flavors, we have egg and chicken flavor, not egg and chicken, but egg and chicken flavor. We have whole grain wheat, we have potassium chloride, which is okay, I suppose. We have salt, added salt, and chicken byproduct meal, and calcium carbonate. Corn gluten meal, and meat and bone meal, and whole grain corn. There are obviously like other ingredients with high fructose corn syrup, which I saw the other day as well. I think this is dismal. I would never feed my dog anything like this. This is horrible food. If you like it and if you want to feed this is it's you can do ground rice in pet food. It's ridiculous, absolutely. But this is the state of things, folks. A lot of people will love these Purinas and whatever, and a lot of dogs, I'm sure, and cats do phenomenal on Purina. And these are brands I don't like. I really don't like. Corn and rice, and they just aren't very good. So no, these boutique foods are ridiculous. Some of them are. I do agree with you that some boutique foods are ridiculous as well. I mean, there is a trend at the moment, for example, here in the UK, with freeze-dried dog food, and 750 grams, which would be maybe 3/4 of my dog's daily allowance, is £30. So it would cost me about 50 quid per day to feed my golden retriever on something extremely good in terms of quality. The ingredients are incredible. It's phenomenal food. But this is 50 quid a day. I mean, who has £50 or dollars every day to feed one golden retriever? It's way too much. Some boutique foods are absolutely ridiculous, but some boutique foods are really, really good. In fact, they are so good that some of the bigger ones, like your Purinas, your Royal Canins, and your Hills, are buying out some of these boutique foods because they are so good, and they are eating into their margins, and they are stealing market share from them. See Origin, for example. Origin, the 85-15, 85% meat, 15% vegetables and filler. And the food is so good, gently dehydrated. Here in the UK, the recipe hasn't changed much, although it has changed. In America, they do a lot of stuff with grains, which I don't really like. But anyway, it is what it is, really. And they were taking so much market share from others that they got acquired by Mars. And so now it's in their portfolio. So if you are telling me that these boutique foods are really, really poor and really bad, why are they being acquired by all the companies, all the bigger companies? We have Crave, for example, that was independent, and it got bought out, I think, again by Mars, and they were really, really good. Now they are less good, in my opinion, because the recipes have changed. I believe last time I checked, I wasn't so keen on the ingredients anymore, because the amount of meat had diluted down. But anyway, a lot of these boutique foods are indeed ridiculous. Some boutique foods are really good. In fact, again, they are so good that these companies are buying them and adding them to their portfolios. Thank you so much for the question. What is the best wet cat food? The best wet cat food is a food without any carbohydrates whatsoever, and a food that will be complete for your cat. So it will contain bone, it will contain offal. It would contain liver and heart and spleen and whatever else, and it will contain a very high proportion of meat. So you should on the can see meat, tuna broth, maybe vegetables or whatever. Ideally, it wouldn't have any vegetables. Ideally, it would contain chicken heart, chicken liver, chicken breast, bone. Boom. That would be a complete meat wet cat food for your feline friend. That is it basically. There's so many wet cat foods that are absolutely abysmal. A lot more than in dog food, in my opinion, because cats, again, are notoriously fussy. So the amount of cat foods with meat and animal derivatives and meat and bone meals and rice and wheat and barley, and it's on and on and on and on. And people will say, but this food is complete and balanced and it contains 70% rice for my cat. If you want to feed that to your cat, then so be it, But then you cannot tell me that cats can now convert rice into energy. They cannot, they don't secrete amylase in the mouth. They cannot break down carbohydrates. When me and you eat rice or bread or vegetables, we start breaking it down in the mouth because we have the enzymes. It's called amylase. Dogs and cats do not have it. They don't have this enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates. Now they can secrete some amylase through the pancreas and kidneys. Dogs and cats can actually, but they have such a hard time converting carbohydrates into energy. In the case of cats, they cannot. They just don't. They aren't designed to do it. So feeding them these carb-rich diets is a recipe for disaster, and this is why the veterinary industry is just thriving. It's absolutely thriving. There's more and more vets. The vet bills keep popping up, and they keep getting more and more expensive. And where are you going to go? To the vet. And I have taken my dog to the vet maybe 3 times in the past 5 years, and maybe I've been very, very lucky. But I think that I feed my dog with the knowledge I have gathered from the thousands of conversations that I've had and the studies that I've done, and the especially the experience of like talking to people and converting people onto better foods, and me seeing for myself the difference day in and day out with different dogs that come to us that we solve problems for. So, and cats. So that would be the best wet cat food. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what you disagree with, especially because I love people who disagree with me. And I will see you in the next one.